Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be looking at the MiG17, the Russian 9.0 fighter. Quick rundown of my loadout before we get into the generalities and the matchmaker of the MiG17. I run the MiG17 on 20 minutes of fuel and I use 500 meters vertical targeting. It just makes it a little easier while you're aiming. It's one less thing that you have to calculate if you use vertical targeting. I highly recommend trying it if you do not. I also have the two S-21 rockets strapped on the wings at 1,000 meters activation distance. Just means that the rockets are going to explode in midair after they have traveled 1 kilometer's distance. It's not that useful. It's not the most competitive way to fly the MiG, that's for sure. You lose a little bit of performance when you put the rockets on. Not a lot. The things that you can outturn with the rockets, or without the rockets rather, you're still going to be able to outturn when you have the rockets on, and same goes for the speed. If you can outrun it without the rockets on, you can still outrun it with the rockets on, if that makes sense. So, do you lose performance? Yes. Is it going to be the difference of life and death? In most cases, not. So, if you want to throw them on, that's great. Just keep in mind, unless you practice with these rockets a lot, and I mean a lot, you're probably not going to get a lot of kills. The only kills I really ever get with them is just head-ons that I just time well, and I shoot the rocket at the perfect time, and I get a head-on kill with them. That's pretty much it. Nothing too fancy with them. Anyways, I'm in a 9.0 match, which doesn't happen very often. I'm pretty lucky to be top tier. Usually, most of your games, you're going to be seeing Harriers and stuff like that sitting at a 9.0 battle rating, which the MiG-17 always has been 9.0 since it came into the game. It still is 9.0, so the Harrier GR1 being 9.7, you're going to see them quite a lot. And unfortunately, the amount of fun you have at this battle rating, not just in the MiG-17, but in general, any plane from 8.7 to 10.0, the amount of fun you have is going to be pretty much entirely dependent on a coin flip, and the coin flip is whether or not the Harrier GR1 is on your team or not. It's pretty unfortunate, it's pretty sad, and it's really disappointing, but that's just it's just the state of the game that we're at right now, and we're going to have to deal with it. Now, talking a little bit more about the MiG specifically as a plane, it's got two 23mm and one 37mm cannons. The 23s are not that useful. They don't do a lot of damage, and they're pretty slow fire rate, pretty slow velocity. Most of your kills are going to be with the 37mm. Neither of the guns are particularly high muzzle velocities. In fact, they are quite low muzzle velocity, but you can make it work. As you can see here, there's an Intendard. He's going up into a little bit of vertical. I think I shoot a rocket at him. Yeah, I completely miss, but the way you're going to want to use these guns is exactly like this, or at least something like this. You're going to want to fly right up to that plane, get really close range, and just shoot a small burst of your cannons. As long as one of your 37mm hits, the plane is going to die, or at least be completely crippled. So take short, calculated bursts. You need to have trigger discipline with this plane. As you can see, I only fired 3 shots, one of them hit and it got me a kill. So while yes, you don't have a lot of ammo with these guns, as long as you're disciplined with the trigger, they can still carry you a long way. Right here, there's an F-86, F-25, doing some kind of vertical maneuver. Not really sure what he's doing, because he didn't really latch onto the 6 of the teammate, and if he was trying to evade me, he did a pretty dog shit job of it. The reason for that is the MiG-17 is incredible in vertical fights. Both the MiG-15 bis and the MiG-17 are really good at vertical maneuvers. They have great thrust to weight ratios, so if you're fighting one, don't pull vertical maneuvers. And if you are in a MiG, you're going to want to pull vertical maneuvers because it's great at energy fighting, it's great at stall fighting. And the MiG-17 specifically is a fantastic turn fighter. It'll outturn even a Venom, if anyone even knows or cares what a Venom is anymore. It's a really good turn fighter, but not better than the MiG-17, surprisingly enough. With flaps, at low speeds even, the MiG-17 can outturn the Venom. It'll outturn delta wings like the A4B. It can do a lot of things, and a lot of things very well. And that's one of the reasons I decided to showcase this gameplay, because I kind of do a little bit of everything. Everything that the MiG-17 can do, you're going to see in this gameplay here. Right here, I probably should have went after that Cougar, but I saw that the Skyhawk was chasing my teammate, and me being the fantastic team player that I am, I wanted to try to help him out and get the Skyhawk off of his 6. Right here, I get into a little bit of a turn fight with the Skyhawk. I'm at pretty low speeds, definitely not a comfortable speed to be at, especially considering how many players are still alive on the enemy team still, but at the same time, I don't see any directly around me besides that Cougar. So I'm in a bit of a 2 versus 2 right now with my teammate in the area. The Skyhawk latches onto my 6 right here. I was completely caught off guard by that. He surprised me. I lost sight of him there for a second when I was looking around, and then I just looked back and he was on my 6. So anyways, after a few turns with him and the Cougar coming back into the action, I decide, screw that, I'm not going to get on low speed with 2 enemies in the area. So I try to get some distance between me and the enemies. The MiG-17 has fantastic low speed acceleration too, so you can get away and pull out of a turn fight pretty well. Not many things are going to catch up to you for a while. However, as you're going to see here, once you get towards the higher speeds, your acceleration is pretty poor. Pretty piss poor, actually. This Skyhawk is even going to start out accelerating me at high speeds. It's going to result in me having to dive for the ground to pick up a little bit of extra speed. And that's something you have to be very careful in both the MiG-15 bis and the MiG-17. While yes, they have great low speed acceleration, and while yes, the MiG-17 on paper is the fastest of the 9.0s, I believe, at least the Boomer 9.0s. I'm not really sure about the newer jets added to the game, but I know out of the Hunter, the F-86F series, and the CL-13 Sabre, the MiG-17 is the fastest of all of those jets. It just may not seem like it sometimes because the acceleration at top speeds, again, is piss poor. So unless you have some altitude below you to dump the nose and pick up speed from a dive, you're not going to notice how fast your plane really is. And 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be utilizing the top speed either. Most of the time, you're going to be sitting anywhere from 500 to about 620 miles an hour. That's around like 850 to, 1,000 kilometers an hour. You're not going to be hitting that top speed too often, and you really shouldn't be either because the MiGs compress very hard at high speeds, meaning you're probably not going to be able to get your guns on target if you're going that fast either. The only time you do want to be going that fast is if you're just strictly running away. Anyways, we're getting into, I guess, the most intense part of this gameplay here. I'm in a 2 versus 1, I believe, at least while I was running. I was running because I was trying to wait for some teammates to arrive because I didn't want to be 2 versus 1. You never want to be 2 versus 1, even if you outclass the planes in every single way like I do here. There's really nothing a Skyhawk or a Cougar could do to me, but considering there's both of them and only one of me, I wanted to get the hell out of there. Luckily for me, a teammate comes and kind of breaks them up a little bit, just enough for me to find some separation and pick them off one at a time. I get that A4 stalled out nicely, and I get a nice critical hit into him. He's damaged enough now that I'm not worried about him being in the fight anymore. Unfortunately for me, the teammate that was with me and helped me get out of that 2 versus 1 situation is now dead, and that means that I'm now 1 versus 1 with this F9, F8. Nothing that the MiG-17 can't handle. Once again, you're going to see me stall him out right here. Something that the MiG's very good at. I've got my landing flaps all the way down. I'm just kind of floating in the air right now. I pop out the air brake to make sure I'm not picking up too much speed, and I come directly around on him. Even at super low speeds, this thing has plenty of turning capabilities, and I get right on top of him. Get some nice 37s into him. Maybe it was 23s, I'm not sure. Considering he didn't explode, I'm going to assume the 23s hit him. Anyways, he's pretty much out of the fight at this point. He's got no chance at beating me. And I think I hit him again here. Blow off his wing a little bit. Pretty much disables him from being a threat entirely, but it doesn't actually give me the kill, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to turn back around and put a final finishing blow into him, just so that I make sure that my teammates don't get the kill, and I do. Now, the MiG-17 has always been one of my favorite jets, and it's probably my favorite jet at this battle rating right now. I think it's probably the most capable, considering you can turn fight just about everything. You are faster than just about everything at 9.0, keep that in mind. Obviously, you can still fight things that are going to be significantly faster than you, but at 9.0, you are pretty much the fastest. Your thrust to weight is fantastic for stall fighting. Something I very much enjoy doing is stall fighting and turn fighting. I got kind of an aggressive play style, so if that's you, maybe you should try practicing in the MiGs. The guns are a little bit tough to master, but with a little bit of practice, anyone can get the hang of it. Anyways, I hope you guys learned a little bit about the MiG from this video. I hope you found it enjoyable. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you on the next one. See ya.